Hey nerds. In celebration of season 6 of Walking Dead ending tomorrow, and in great fear of Carol maybe meeting her imminent demise, I'm going to analyze a song from episode 12. The episode was called Not Tomorrow Yet. It's followed by one of my favorite episodes of the season, Same Boat, and I like to watch both of them coupled together because the setup for kind of Carol's arc pretty much starts, or I should say her current arc starts basically at that episode and gets intensified with that episode, Same Boat. Regardless, though, I think a lot of her thinking, or just the thematical parallel of the song, work really well, and I've had stuck in my head. I've been listening to it constantly since the episode first aired, and I finally got around to analyzing the lyrics. The song is by a band called Parsonfield. They used to have another name. I actually thought they were an indie band because of it, because I hadn't heard of them before. I believe they used to be called Yield Shine. But I'll have a link in the description to their page, the lyrics, and whatever else I think is necessary for this video in terms of background information. Okay, so I'm trying something a little new. I use post-it notes, so I have all the lyrics right here. We're just going to go through them, not necessarily stanza by stanza or line by line, but I just think digestible part by digestible part. And just as a reference, there's not going to be any cutting in this video. Everything that I'm kind of drawing from is kind of everything we know up until the point of this episode, or as the episode progresses, anything before that. Everything after is kind of like happenstance in terms of analysis. And yeah, I guess I'll just do it and stop explaining. So the song is called Weeds or Wildflowers. And the first line is, well, I came along to find a little peace of mind. Well, I mean, the survivors going to Alexandria to like have peace of mind that their brains won't get eaten in the night, and that they can rebuild society and feel like functioning human beings. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. Neglect all my duties, stepping off that straight in line. Now, I think this is pointing to Carol specifically. She's kind of she's one of the big protectors of the group. She's really strong, and while she's in Alexandria for a long time, she's been pretending like she's been weak. She hasn't been stepping up. She hasn't been going out on run. She's been kind of like suppressing herself, saving herself. Although at this point, by episode 12, she's already kind of shown herself to be like willing to kill maliciously, or profoundly, maybe, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, she probably feels like she's been slacking off. So especially in this episode, it makes sense for her to want to finally be out in the field again after so long. Now I just sit by my front door filled with indolence and sound. Now I actually had to look up indolence because I didn't know that word. It means not willing to exert yourself. Synonym, easy, laziness. I sit by my front door filled with indolence and sound. So, in Alexandria, you can just kind of kick it. A lot of people can become very rusty. We don't get the sense that Carol has become rusty, but maybe she feels like she's been slacking off on her duties, and now she's feeling like she doesn't even kind of want to do them anymore. She's so used to not doing them. It's like I'm watching weeds grow on my brow. Now, I want to point to this very specifically because this is technically part of the chorus. And if you notice, the speaker is talking about themselves, and they say it'll be growing on their brow. And they don't say wildflowers, they just say weeds. Why I'm pointing this is important is because when it comes up in the actual chorus, it doesn't say brow. And it's not talking about the speaker themselves. It's talking about someone else, whoever the speaker's talking to. And they say, on your bow. Well, we'll come back to that later. So my take of even just the title of the song in reference to this whole situation, weeds or wildflowers. Well, wildflowers can grow in some fairly challenging environments, and they're nice to look at, right? They help the ecosystem. But weeds, the reason people don't like weeds, if you don't know, or you're the type of person who's like, weeds are so pretty, is just that I'm not the type of person. It's just the fact that they're invasive. They spread really fast, and they kind of take the nutrients from plants that were taking them. They don't share. They just kind of latch on. They leech. They're life that costs life, in a way. So if you think about the people in Alexandria, a lot of people haven't been outside. They're kind of like weeds. They're plants, they're growing, they're people, but they're not really contributing to the overall life. They're really holding people down, i.e. the survivors. But now, since they're all one group, obviously there are some people who are holding back the group and certain people who aren't. And sometimes Carol might feel like she does. Not. Okay. This one's pretty easy. And I had a pure potential in a soiled white shirt. If you're actually watching the episode, when this line is said, you can see that she's wearing a white shirt, which very soon gets stained in blood. Although she is out foraging for acorns, it's kind of like, work. This song kind of references lots of rural imagery, or at least agricultural imagery. So to think about foraging for things seems right in line with the kind of themes of the song. And that pure potential, I'm assuming, is kind of like innocence that has nothing to do with killing things, undead or living. I'm thinking back to Sophia, her daughter. And basically, she didn't contribute to the group in any sort of violent way until after Sophia died. She had a pure potential. And I want to put special attention on that too, because in the episode, literally right after the song tapers off, Carol's talking to Tobin, and in their conversation, he kind of refers to her as a mom. And even though she's lost her daughter, he still persists that she is a mom. And it's just the energy she has and the way that she treats people in the safe zone. So, obviously, that pure potential is not being used anymore, or not so often. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Would love enough to kill me, but was unsure of its worth. Well, what do a lot of people on The Walking Dead do when they see reanimated versions of their loved ones? They run right towards them. If you remember the barn scene from season 2 of Walking Dead, she was damn sure running straight towards that barn. And I believe it was Daryl who held her back. There's been similar moments, like when Carl was gonna let Rick basically eat him if he ended up turning, when he didn't know whether or not his dad had turned. So I think that she definitely would have died for Sophia if she could. But since Sophia died first, she couldn't do that. And because of that, she wasn't sure what that love was worth. I know I'm being pretty literal here, but I mean, I think these parallels are like really beating us over the head here. And through the night is sweetened by some rising of the moon, I've lived long enough to know the battle's never through. Well, no matter how safe you feel, I mean, there's something that's literally been said before by a character on Walking Dead. No matter how safe you think you are, you're not actually safe. So kind of this new chapter, being in a safe zone, feeling safe, and kind of even coming on the other end of an attack and still being alive and having a lot of people still be alive, still gotta be on your guard. I think that's the main point of that. And it also relates to, and I'm sorry for referencing something that I knew I said I wasn't going to reference stuff later, but Carol's note about not wanting to kill for other people. I think it's a pretty good reference to that, because the battle's never through, and she says, you know, even if we dispose of this coming threat, there'll be more. So there's that too. You pass something down no matter where or how. Now, this is probably one of my favorite lines, because one of my favorite kind of things The Walking Dead does is, even though a character is dead, there's visual references to a character who's dead juxtaposed with, I don't know, people that care about that person. And especially considering the song is called Weeds or Wildflowers, and we had that very, very sad episode a couple seasons ago called The Grove, that had a character die while being told the mantra, look at the flowers, just look at the flowers. I think that it's pretty clear here that this overarching theme of agriculture is really something that is kind of toxic in a way, if you think about it in line with Carol and what she's been through. But just in terms of characters in The Walking Dead, some people like just literally have mementos from other characters. Sasha used to wear Bob's jacket, for example. Even Carol, I believe, still has, and you can see it in the scene where she pulls out the machete to kill the zombie while she's gathering acorns. I believe she still has the knife she got from T-Dog. If I'm wrong, just tell me in the comments if that knife was supposed to belong to someone else. Thanks. Okay. Well, there'll be weeds or wildflowers affixed upon your boughs. Yeah, I thought it was bowels, which I really thought was like really dark. I was like, wow, bowels? Damn, this song is dark. But when I looked it up on their actual website, it is bows, like a bow of a ship. So I'm thinking someone's head, flower arrangement on a casket, I'm thinking, and in line with the themes of weeds kind of taking away life, or kind of being a waste of potential even, kind of leeching off of things and not doing it for themselves, or wildflowers that just kind of thrive. Which one do you kind of want to represent you on your deathbed, I guess? Or it's actually asking a question. I actually originally wrote the grammar wrong. It's asking a question. It's not, even though I have it written, well, there'll be weeds or wildflowers fits upon your boughs. It's actually, will there be? It does kind of change tenses in the song depending on if the singer is talking about themselves or the person they're singing to. And there's a crooked burning cigarette rolling on your tongue. Now, Carol smokes. I think that it can be read pretty directly, you know, but I'm pretty sure the lifestyle of killing that Morgan kind of despises and was trying to push Carol and the wolves away from is kind of, I think, an allegory for the cigarette. It's a short-term kind of thing. Like you can live that way for a while, but soon it will kill you. I think is maybe a little bit of a long-reaching metaphor for that, but I'll accept it. It's my video after all. Well, there'll be weeds or wildflowers when you're done. And I mean, done what? When you're done living, when you're done doing whatever you're going to do, I think you can leave that up to interpretation. But if Carol's the singer, then I think that she might be empowering everybody to do something. Maybe not specifically, but considering in the scene she's handing out cookies to everyone, and this may be the final time she even bakes for anyone, it's pretty relevant, I think. Remember, she tried to teach Sam how to make cookies, so she didn't have to make him cookies anymore. It's kind of like the fish analogy, where you're like, oh, if you teach a man to fish, he can fish for his entire lifetime, but if you just feed him, you know, he can just eat for a day. Now, remember Remember, you traveled through the desert, you traveled through the sea, looking out on some horizon, asking what you meant to me. Now, at first, I thought this was totally a reference to Just the Survivor, since they're the ones that have been kind of going to and fro places. But then I thought, wait, the desert and the sea, those are total extreme parallels. So, if they're extreme parallels, they can mean something like, good or evil, safe or in danger, something like that. But if you're going through the extremes of your life, which I'm sure pretty much every Alexandrian has gone through at this point, then it's safe to say that I think the whole community, especially if they're her children, are kind of like thinking, man, what do I mean to Carol? I definitely think I can take this literally, because as she's handing out cookies, you can even see a few people very surprised, like, what? And I think it was also a surprise to us as the audience that she's still running around with mommy blazers and, baking cookies for everyone, when they know that she's kind of a murderer, assassin, a kind of survivor person. So there's that. All right. And we all hang around with a freer 12 mind while our branches intertwine. We have a lot of different types of people in the different areas. No matter what your community is, whether they're zombies or not, you're going to have people who are deranged and people who are not deranged. And we just kind of all mix together. So we're not just what we are, we become what everyone is, which I think is a really big thing on Walking Dead, or at the least is going to be. Okay? And as I watch the brick road from day to day, the leaves change their colors and the loft fills with hay. As a blade of sunshine cuts across my chest, the blood beneath boils with unrest. Well, I think for the song itself, if I was just talking about the song, it kind of goes also into like the butterfly effect and kind of someone who seems to be small being able to have a big amount of change, or not realizing the amount of change they actually have. Now, in terms of this, obviously she's watching the safe zone change and become better, but also, become weaker in points. And she is kind of there. She's been kind of there through it all, at least so far. And she still feels on edge because, she knows that attack could come at any time, no matter how much they think they're safe. Okay. You pass something down no matter where or how. This is just the chorus. I wrote it all down just so I could have the chorus all there. I mean, just a repetition of this whole kind of thing about the cigarette and, just what you have to do to kind of live the way you've been living, and what you're basically going to amount to in the end. And we're almost done. Okay. Thrown about by the wind and the worthless little thing, but the world can feel the changes of a butterfly wings. I mean, come on. Butterfly effect. One flap of a wing can cause a hurricane overseas or something like that. I'm thinking even like the weakest characters can, become strong, just like Carol did, remember? So kind of it's like, and I'm sorry to reference it one more time, but in her leaving, it's kind of like, well, I became strong. Anyone can. Whew. Is this the last one? Yep, last page. Okay. And so that cricket burning cigarette rolling on your tongue will leave its weed before your flowers yet have sprung. Will there be weeds or wildflowers when you're done? Asking that question again. But I think it's important to see that it's saying that if you keep having the cigarette, then it's gonna be a weed. You're gonna be a hindrance to people. And I think that connecting it to Daryl and what he did in the last episode in terms of running off, that's totally being a weed, unfortunately. Being very selfish. And I think being selfish is what being selfish gets you killed in Walking Dead and horror things. That's what I mean. And I'm about to run out of time, but I'm glad I finished. Please comment, subscribe if you like. Let me know if you like videos like this. I'll see you guys later, nerds, and I hope Carol doesn't die tomorrow.